Welcome to Monday Motivation. Today we're going to talk about how I plan on recovering postpartum. Okay, so we're sitting here. The majority of the family is at music lessons. So the soon to not be baby is hanging out with me looking at some cards, and the puppies are playing. Daisy, off. I don't let them on the couch. Daisy, off. Off, Daisy. Off. Off. Yes. Well, not on me. Go lay on your bed. Good girl. So this is our puppy, Daisy, and this is our puppy, Brownie. This puppy we got from another breeder, and there's Kimber over there. And then this puppy here is Brownie. We are, for those of you who don't know me personally, we are Great Dane breeders and breed, obviously, Great Danes. And I have always, since we started getting Danes... Is Daisy snuggling with Kimber? Looks like she's trying to mess with her. But since we have started breeding dogs and got our first Danes 5 years ago, I've always wanted a chocolate tan point. So she was our 87th puppy born before we got her coloring. We had a couple chocolate tan point males. Oh, she's biting my shirt. Anyway, so she's my favorite. So sometimes I let her half on the couch. Anyway, back to postpartum. I am about 38 weeks, one day shy of 38 weeks. And I start to plan my postpartum recovery, well in advance, several months off, Daisy, off, several months in advance. I've done a couple reels on this so far. So go check out my social media stuff. And one of the ways that I do that is I start to, about a month, 2 months, if I'm super ambitious, I start to make freezer meals. So basically, I start to think, okay, what meals can I make that do well in the freezer? Casseroles are a great one. Using beef and chicken, there's lots of different options. And I basically just start doubling all of our meals. So, one I cook for supper, and then the other one I just put in a foil pan, wrap it up really well. So that way I don't have to worry about cooking. I do have to remember to set it out, because if you've ever made a freezer casserole, it takes at least a day to set it out to thaw before you can cook it. So I do sometimes struggle to remember that postpartum. But anyway, it's there and available. I've made, soups and chilies and different things. So meal prepping ahead of time is one thing that I do that really helps recover postpartum. I haven't been the best at this, and it becomes less of a necessity. Honestly, the more children that we have, is making sure I have help postpartum. Now that my older girls are, 13, 11, 10, they are super big helps. And I don't have as many little children running around depending on me, that don't have help. So, they take care of helping, which this one decided to potty train. If you can see her over there. Remy, out, Remy. Our boy dogs are coming in the house now too. Anyway, she's decided to potty train. So instead of me having to get up every time she says pee, my big girls will help and different things like that. Times I will have help. We're part of a great community. So I oftentimes will have, our church family or different people come and deliver meals, which helps. But I don't depend on that, because like I said, I stock up my freezer. And then at times, my mother-in-law will come and help, just do some cleaning or laundry, things like that. So I haven't been super great at organizing that for myself, but I would definitely recommend it. Anytime you're going to invest in having a cleaning lady, definitely recommend that postpartum, and just making sure that you have help. somebody staying. And then also we have a beautiful young lady who works for us right now. She helps us with our Danes and my coaching and all the things at home, school, and housework and stuff. Tally, don't spray that, sweetie. All done. So she'll be here too, sweet Michaela. So she's going to be here to help. So I should have some help when I have the baby. And then I also try to clear our schedule. Things like just extra things. So our children are involved in a local MMA where they do jujitsu and karate. And I will probably pause their membership, shortly after we have the baby. I'm due mid-March. So I'll probably let them finish out March and have dad, work on those couple weeks. Off, Daisy. Off, off, off. Good girl. Dad will finish out the month, and then we'll take off the month of April and probably May too. So anything like that I can clear our schedule, just so that we're not running around and I'm not trying to, get the baby in and out of the car seat and everything, and we can just stay home as much as possible and rest, will be great. Organizing some days that the children can go out and I can stay home. So like, I'm sure Michaela will, take them out to the park or the YMCA, things like that, so that I can just stay and focus on baby and rest. Really, for the first 6 weeks, I tried to plan. We try not to go anywhere, like I said, just clearing our schedule with things that we can and are able to do so. Sorry, I'm holding my phone, but it is what it is. Hopefully it's not too bouncy. Some other things that I do, I posted a video last week about how I prep, for the baby. So go and check those things out. I'm not going to, rehash any of those things. So this is, what I do technically ahead of time to rest after. So a couple other things that I do to prepare for a good postpartum is, one, I exercise to make sure I have a good delivery, but then it also affects how you recover too. So I continue to exercise and do just different things that assist in labor, stretching, more things like that. Make sure I'm opening up my pelvis, stuff like that I do beforehand, but it also helps recovery afterwards too. So that's kind of something I do ahead of time to help with postpartum. I will say on the exercise front though, I take 6 weeks completely off. That doesn't mean that I do nothing, but I don't do any specific exercise, programs or anything like that. I just really focus on resting and enjoying the baby. That season is so short that I've learned to not rush it and to just enjoy it. So yes, I will go, on walks with the children and get outside and, do things like that. But like to work on an actual program or lift weights or do cardio, anything like that, I completely pause, for 6 weeks and just completely rest with the baby. And then after 6 weeks, I will include her link below, but her name is Ashley Keller. She is a wonderful, godly lady who specializes in prenatal and postpartum recovery. And I do her postpartum exercise program. So starting at, 7 weeks is when I will start that. And she really focuses for the first 6 weeks, 8 weeks. After that is pulling your abs back together, healing your pelvic floor, strengthening that, not jumping into exercise, but helping your inner things that have been adjusted and stretched and all of those things tighten up and get back in place before any other strenuous activity starts. So I've had really, really good success with her program. There have been some of my pregnancies where I have rushed back into exercise, and honestly, it has really backfired. My abs did not come back together for my one pregnancy because I just rushed it too much and I didn't take time to just slowly heal. So I will definitely, like I said, be resting for 6 weeks and then doing Ashley Keller's postpartum exercising starting week 7. And then she has lots of programs after that too that are wonderful, but I would say I'm almost like past postpartum after that. The other thing that you really need to take into consideration that I didn't really put much thought into with my first couple pregnancies is that changing your mindset, and this is probably the coaching coming out in me, but changing your mindset on how you view postpartum. It's not a recovery from pregnancy, like something terrible has happened to you, although there are things that you need to strengthen and stuff. It is an adjustment period, and you have all those hormones that are flushing out through your body and all of that. And it can be such an emotional and mental time. And I know that a lot of people really struggle with postpartum depression and things like that. So taking the time to adjust to a new baby, that it's not a recovery, something bad didn't happen to me. Oh my goodness, my life is over. I'm never going to be the same. Yes, some of those things are true. I'm not going to be the same, but it's for the better. So we are adjusting to new life in our home and the new blessing, and really focusing on just cherishing that time instead of trying to get back to something or someone that I was before the baby. And like I said, just changing that mindset and know this is a season, and I'm going to become a better mom and more Christ-like as I, serve this baby, and our family is never going to be the same. Thank goodness, because God is growing it and we're adjusting and all of those things. So definitely mental and emotional work, allowing myself the grace to feel all the feels. Sometimes I thought in the past that if I let myself be emotional, that I was going to be depressed, and I kind of like suppressed those emotions. Whereas now, if there's a day where I'm just like holding my baby and crying, I just let it come out. And it's okay. It's okay to feel the feels. It's okay to, especially when you have this body that like, and I'm just going to speak personally and raw with you guys, but like you have this pre-baby body, right? And then you have the baby and you're big and you're adjusting, and then the baby comes out and you're so excited, but you're like left with this blob of mush and nothing, kind of like everything's kind of saggy and all these things, and you're, almost mourning the loss kind of your baby, because it's, out here now and you're kind of stuck left with this. So just allowing yourself time to mentally work through those things and emotionally and adjust is really important, and to not stay there. So feel the feels and let the emotions come, but then, take those thoughts captive and make them obedient to Christ out as to what he's doing in you and through you as a woman, as a mother, as a wife. And let those changes come and embrace those instead of constantly wanting to go back. Cause you ain't going back. Right. So, focusing on the positive and moving forward, and, maintaining a heart of thankfulness and gratefulness and all of that. So that's a huge part of postpartum. If postpartum depression is something that you struggle with, I would definitely seek out, counseling, therapy, coaching, whatever. Like I said, Sarah's information is below. I've mentioned her at the beginning of this, or no, I mentioned her in my last video. I have a friend who specializes in coaching for prenatal and gets you ready for birth, but then also postpartum stuff as well. So she's wonderful. So go check out her information. I'll try to remember to link it below as well. But so definitely get support. Make sure you're talking, working through, all of those emotions. Okay, I ranted on about that. And then just a couple last things is I prepare my children ahead of time and train them ahead of time to transition and basically stepping up and doing chores. So like, for example, my 5-year-old son, when we unload the dishwashers, he's responsible for putting the silverware away. So he is graduating from that job. And right now I am training my next youngest son, who is 3, but will be 4 here in just a couple weeks, to put the silverware away. So I have children graduating from some chores and learning new ones. So instead of that transitioning happening once baby's here, we do it ahead of time, because there's a learning curve. Maybe I should do a YouTube video on this, and that we can't expect our children to do something that we haven't taken time to teach them. So we're kind of in, like I said, the graduation process, the learning, teaching process right now of learning new chores so that afterwards, I'm not having to teach them while I'm recovering. We're kind of already in a groove. So helping the children, get used to their new chores, those kinds of things, is something else that I do to help with postpartum. So I hope that this video was helpful to you. I hope that it encourages you to prepare for postpartum, and don't set yourself up for unrealistic expectation about what postpartum is supposed to be like. Oh, I have all these meals done. I have this help and I'm still, sad. And just allow the things to come. I have a sign in our kitchen that says, "Blessed is the flexible, for they won't be bent out of shape." So just roll with it. Just embrace the season. Don't rush it. Oh, dude, you just spilt cereal all over your head. Did it go in your ear? Oh, goodness. Okay. Enjoy the postpartum season. Reach out if you have any questions, any help. I'm here to help you. Love you all, and we'll see you next time. Bye.